Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hello, everybody. Hello, bonjour, and salut. May God's peace and blessings be with you. In this video, we will talk about the history of Jewish extremism, and we will start at Noah. I've called this series Mikveh, which is very symbolic, and you will understand why this is very symbolic. The first part will be from Noah to Khazar. So I will start the video where I think is appropriate. So above I will show you a family tree which starts with Noah and ends with Khazar. Modern Jewry, basically the ancestry goes through Noah, Japhet, Gomer, Ashkenaz and then Khazar. That is what modern Jewry majority descends from. So the claim of anti-Semitism is completely extraordinary because the real Semites are people from the Middle East and the people who speak Arabic and Hebrew. They are not people who are Jewish. Jewish is a religion, it's not an ethnicity. So we've established that Jewish and Hebrew is not the same thing. Now let's go look into the development of terrorism within the Jewish sects that developed. If we go look in the time of Jesus Christ, Isa, peace and blessings be with him, sallallahu salam, we can look at the Zealots and the Sicarios, which were a group essentially of terrorists and assassins. But I'm running a bit ahead of myself and I want to give a bit of a background story because the Judeans were also the Jews in exile in Babylon, let's say Persia, Sumeria, yeah, where they came into contact with the old pagan traditions of those lands, the old Semitic pagan traditions, which they keep guard in their Talmud and Kabbalah, which all the modern Jewry is actually focused on instead of the Torah. A'udhu billahi min shaitanir rajim. Yeah, these are evil spirits. We're talking about Moloch, about Baal, about evil dark gods. You're certainly familiar with that. The Israelites, the Judeans, and their struggle with these gods and sacrifice, in specific, the sacrifice of children. So not only did they reject every single prophet that has came down, subhanallah, they rejected every single one. They also betrayed them, killed them, and they're actively hunting them. I know of Jewish plans to actively seek out and destroy members of the family of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They're actively looking for descendants of Jesus Isa sallallahu alaihi wasallam, anybody with this blood. I don't know if you know, but every single royal family in the world claims descendants, literal blood descendants from David, King David of the Jews, from the biblical Israelites. So the Jews, they developed a lot of different sects, especially if you look in the time of the Babylonian exile and afterwards in the time of Jesus and during Roman occupation. There were different factions like the Sadducees, the Pharisees, the Zealots, the Essenes, and you name it. But a lot of these became subsects, which were, as a matter of fact, death cults. This is where extremism in the world actually started, where you see really the first fanatical recorded history of fanatical extremism. And also, certainly, let's not forget that Musa alayhi salam, he smashed the Ten Commandments, and in Deuteronomy, I will put it here in the video, the Jews were cursed by God Himself, subhanahu wa ta'ala, by Allah. So the Jews are cursed people. There is no theological or whatever basis to ground any Jewish nation on, because for Jewish religion they are banished from the land. They are supposed to live in exile until their Mashiach, their Messiah, returns. So the Jews were banished from many nations because they developed sects and they were very criminal. We have evidence for this. Many attacks being committed, subvertive, but this is actually a part of their religion. There are verses in the Talmud who promotes the Jews of subverting, infiltrating, and doing all these kinds of things for them to gain world dominance. Because essentially, that's where they go to world dominance. Yeah, that's their religion actually. They need to enslave the entire globe. They believe they're chosen by God and everybody else needs to either die or be their slave. If you're not believing in like Christianity or Islam, you have no God, you need to die. If you're a Christian or a Muslim, you're considered a slave. But just look at what they're doing today. But that's not what we're talking about in this video. We're going into the history, and we went from the Sicarios. Now we go to the Khazars. That's a bit in the future, but I hope some pictures that I've shown you also made the picture a lot clearer. Sometimes pictures speak a thousand words, you know. So these Jewish sects created very corrupt and very occult priesthoods that were busy with black magic, blood magic, and sacrifices. We have stories literally going back ages and ages, not of just prosecution of Jewish crimes, but just of the Jewish crimes in themselves. And in many cases, they remained a mystery. And instead of everybody realizing the facts that are at hand, most thing that's talked about is, oh, the Jews got prosecuted every time. Well, there must be a reason for their prosecution, and yes, there is. So they went about this corrupt priesthood. They went to Khazaria, which in itself was a very corrupt, barbaric nation of murderous people who came where they were. They came there plundering and pillaging with the Huns and the Mongols, etc. Yeah, they turned into Jews. Yeah, President of Egypt Gamal Abdel Nasser also said they left black and came back white. They can never live in peace. Yes, the people claiming to be Jews nowadays, of course, aren't the biblical Israelites. They have nothing to do with Hebrew people, and they're not even Semite. So this whole claim anti-Semitic, total bullshit. So Morocco, which is one of the biggest partners in crime, sent 200,000 Jewish Moroccans in 1984 also to Palestine. But these are other stories we're going to talk about now. We're still in the Gaza phase. But yeah, just ask any of these Jews to do a DNA test, but okay. I will also put some links of videos in the description, but this is very important information for everybody to get in their head because we said indeed never again. But what is never again? I'm saying it. It is a holo hoax. You know what is real? The holodomor. Yeah, that is real. The blood libel is real. They were prosecuted over and over again. And these Khazarian Jews, because not normal Jews, but Khazarian Jews, they spread over the entirety of Europe, over all of Europe, and they became involved in the majority in banking and all of that kind of stuff. And why is that? Because in most religions, rent and all that is forbidden, it's haram, and you're not allowed. Jews are allowed, they can scheme whatever they want. So these are the people that got involved into the money business, and that is what got us into the big problems. And over this whole line of descendants were wars and brothers fighting with each other, killing each other even. Yeah, and from these groups, what they call the 13 tribes, is a split off group, the tribe of Dan. Let me also talk about that in this video, because the tribe of Dan is actually very important in this. It is the Jewish, let's say, Judean, Khazar, Babylonian Phoenician whatever invasion of Europe. Because actually, you see Viking DNA, if we go trace that back, it is the same DNA group of the Phoenicians. We find artifacts, Arabic artifacts, and whatever in Scandinavia, and the Irish language is very similar to the Hebrew language, and all these things. But I'm gonna make a different video about world view from the Arab perspective. This is a video about Jewish extremism and how that developed. But we can go through the line of all these prophets, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, peace be with them. But we can find that the descendants of the Ashkenaz and the Khazars are, yeah, from a lower stock of people. I hope to have explained this video to you how it came about, how zealots and sicarios came about to go to Khazaria, meet their very violent, warlike tribe, which became converted Jewish, which adapted the Talmud, yeah, and all these practices, the Kabbalah in main, which is in essence black magic. It is Satanism, ladies and gentlemen. It is Satanism. It is the dark side of Judaism, the dark side. So the series is gonna have multiple parts. I'm gonna leave this very short, but I hope you like it. Like and subscribe, I would say, and you'll hear more from me if you like it or not. I will write an extensive description below where you can find all the references from scripture. Never give up, never back down, and fuck these Jewish terrorists. Free Palestine.